Just really proud of our start. I know we've talked a lot, you guys, and you've watched us a lot about, some of our rougher starts, and we knew that we had to come out and really make that first punch and kind of take it to them from the start, and I just could not be more proud of that, to hold them to 10 points and beat them 20-10 in the first. I just thought that set the tone for the entire game. We got up, and then we're very resilient and able to withstand all of their runs. They're a really, really good team, so we knew that they were going to make some runs, but I was really proud of our poise, and whenever we needed a play, needed to get a bucket, needed to stop, we stepped up when we were able to do that. So I thought that you saw the experience really come through in our main guys, and just a great team win against a really, really good Florida State team.
Questions for student athletes, raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone.
Kendall, you talked about last week starting off strong. You talked about last season you started pretty slow in a lot of games. You guys definitely started strong. What did that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think Coach said this was like our best prep week that we've had in a really long time, and I think, everyone was really, really locked in. Everybody knew everything, we were focused, and, the starters, we had a meeting earlier this week, it just kind of talked about like what we needed to do, because it in the end it's on us. I mean, we're the ones that go out there and start the game, and, essentially when the hole's dug, it's because we dug it ourselves. And so we just kind of like got ourselves together and talked about what we needed to do, held each other accountable those 2 days of prep, and I think it paid off.
It's for both of you, if I could. Kendall, start with you. Like, you guys really knew you had expectations coming into this. Like, what's it mean for you to kick it off this way with the ranked win at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. Starting off with the ranked win is a great way to start our last season, I think, and just to start the season off, get our names out there. I mean, I think they really thought they were going to come in and just roll right over us. Not anymore. No one's going to come in and just roll over us. So I think just, how we played today and sustained all the way through, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I would say our prep played a huge role. Like, we were locked in at practice, and we knew what we had to come in and do. And like Kiwi said, it's our last year, and we want to make it the best year and continue the legacy that we want to have for this program.
Yeah, just what can, when you're making stops on the defensive end, do for you offensively, and how did that kind of feed both ways for you tonight?
Yeah, I love defense, and it definitely fuels my offense. Today wasn't my best day. I could have did a lot better with keeping the ball in front and just staying solid. But I know, like, when I have a lot of energy on defense, it helps the team. And if we can get stops and that helps us win the game, that's all I want to do.
Dell, for you, just what in your offseason allowed you to kind of be more under control in some of those drives to the basket and accept contact and kind of get a couple of those and ones tonight?
Yeah, I'll just thank my teammates and coaches, just them always putting confidence in me and just actually just working on doing layups and being aggressive in practice, so it just all paid off.
Kendall, did you know how close you were to the 1,000 rebounds tonight?
I did not. That was a nice surprise. I knew I got like career ones at the beginning of the WBIT last year, but I really had no idea I was that close to like getting it at Illinois. So coming off the court to hearing that is pretty cool. I was pretty excited.
As for either of you, Coach Green talked about like your experience coming through and some of those moments when they made runs. Like, can you describe to me that feeling to kind of understand that might happen and how you turn the page and bounce back?
Yeah, I think we all talked about it. I mean, they're number 19 in the country for a reason. They're a good team, but so are we. We're a good team. But I think we just handled it better than we did last year. Like, we know they're going to go on runs. We know our defense is going to have a breakdown here or there, and like I think we did a really good job today of like pushing past it. I thought Dow did a great job of just like next play. Jazz, Dow, Gretsch, whoever was on. Some of those quicker guards. I thought they did a great job of like. They got scored on. It's like, all right, next play, like I'm going to go down and score. And Dow had multiple and ones, multiple drives, and so I was really proud of like all of them today, just for their mindset and their mentality with that.
The way we ended the season last year, I think that definitely we're just carrying momentum, right? We're not focused about the beginning of the season last year. We're focused on the end, and we're just going to build off that, and I feel like that definitely helped us a lot. And like Coach keeps saying, just our starts and just focusing on that.
For both players, just for being here as long as you have and seeing where this program's come from, what can nights like this do for you guys, just to to see the progress that you've been able to make to have a night like this as a team?
gratitude. Just so grateful for being here, and we have the right people here and good environment and resources. And when you just see everything paying off, you just have a lot of gratitude. When you play with gratitude, you get good results.
Yeah, I think, looking back from where, when Dal and I came in together, where the program started to where it is now, I think it's absolutely insane. And, I'm really proud of everyone who's believed in this program, came in and put the work in. We have put a ton of work into everything, and the coaches have come in and changed our system. Like, they got us to buy in and we bought into it. So I'm just really proud of everybody across the board. Like, it's so cool to, be part of the foundation that turned Illinois around.
We've heard over the off season a lot about Bryn and getting back. Like, what did she bring? She had 10 boards and 2 or 3 blocks. Like, what did she bring to you guys tonight?
She brings so much to us. I feel like a lot of people, like I said on the radio, like, they overlook her as just like, oh, like, don't worry. But she spaces the floor for us. She crashes. She's physical. She can guard guards. She can guard the post. And I thought this was more of a game for me to focus on actually boxing out and not actually getting the rebounds. So I was so happy when I would see her flying in and like grabbing those, and she, getting those loose balls, Dow, Gretchen, Bryn. But she just brings this like kind of quiet presence to the court, and like, we know you can count on her to do what her role is, to do what she needs to do. And, I'm really proud of her today.
KB, I don't know if you saw the tweet this morning from your mom, but I was curious if if you could give us a hint on what the summary was on the conversation with Dad before game 1.
Yeah, he's a coach, and he never stops being a coach. But we both have like a love for basketball. Like, when I go home over Christmas break, we usually go to like a high school game, like just a random high school game from the community, just watch basketball. So I always ask him, I'm like, what's your take? What do you think? What do you see? And he goes all in, like, with these scouts. He'll send like paragraphs, and it helps. I mean, I love it. And he'll send like, clips, and he'll watch stuff. So, it's just a cool relationship I have with him over basketball. I mean, he helped me get to where I am today. I mean, I didn't have any of like the trainers. I didn't do any of like the, I played AAU and worked out with my dad. And so I credit him to where I am today, because he got me here. So I always like to kind of hear his input before games.
Adalia, you were tasked with matching up against Latson tonight. I just wanted to get your thoughts on just what that means to you to be tasked with a responsibility like that.
Yeah, I always want to guard the best player. She's a really good player, and just it helps me build confidence with my defense too. Oh, excuse me. But I love just taking on that responsibility. Again, like, me playing defense and being locked in on like the best player, like, that helps our team win, and I'm willing to do that.
Kendall, I think they went on, I think it was a 9-0 run there in the third quarter. What kind of kept that from snowballing and keeping it from being a big turning point in the game?
I think we just calmed ourselves down and like got back to what the game plan was. I think, we got a little frazzled for a little bit, some defensive breakdowns, but I thought Jenna McKyer did a really good job of just kind of getting us into offense, slowing some things down, like seeing the court, all that stuff. So I really think it was just kind of our poise to kind of like be like, hey, like, it's 9-0 run, like, they're coming back, just slow it down, do what we do. I think we got sped up a little bit. They're a very fast-paced team, so they want you to get caught kind of in that chaos and like just roll with it. But I think we did a good job of kind of stopping it, stepping back, and getting back to what we had been doing.
Adalia, can you take us into like the day or two before, for you personally, when you have a matchup like you did tonight, or I'm even thinking back to like Villanova in the championship game, like, what do you look for? How do you approach like kind of learning everything about them?
Yeah, looking at scouts, like literally studying scout, also watching film, looking at the little things that they do. It really just takes a lot of just time and focus. And again, I love guarding really good players, because you just can't come do whatever you want to do, right? So it just takes a lot of focus and time just to see like what they like to do, what's their strengths and weaknesses, and our coaches prepare us really well.
Well, if you kind of just reference just being locked in this week in practice, what did that kind of look like, and how much confidence did you have just from that week leading into this game, and what it could do for you tonight?
I think a lot of it is like our responses. Like, we talk about that a lot. Sometimes like when we make mistakes, we get caught up in kind of the cycle of like, oh, I made a mistake, and then you stand on offense, and then like you're not playing defense the next time down. So as a group, we had talked about like holding each other more accountable with our responses and having fun. Like, that was a big thing. Like, I feel like with it being our last year, with this being a ranked team for the first game, you get so caught up in like, I can't make a mistake, this girl's good, she's gonna score, but it's like they're gonna score, like, you know, they're really good players, and so just kind of having that sense of like, okay, like I still have to have fun though, I'm still out here getting to play the game I love, and so we kind of talked about that all week, and I think that just kind of helped us over the last couple days.
Yeah, and the unity that we have, like KB's saying, like we're reassuring each other, like you're good, like you gotta guard a good player, but you're a good defender, you know, and just having that next play mentality. KB is always on me like, Dal, pick your head up, let it go, and I appreciate for that. But the unity that we have is just amazing, and I'm just thankful for that.
It's for both of you. How did the roar of that crowd stack up for either of you in your time here?
I was literally full of smiles on the inside. I'm like, yes, come on, y'all, get louder. But the fans, like, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And when y'all are there being loud, like, it means so much, right? You have the whole city right behind you while you're playing one of the best teams. Like, that's the environment we want to play in, and we just hope that y'all keep coming.
Everybody good with
Coach, it seems like your physicality and aggressiveness kind of stunned them a little bit, especially early on in the game. Was that something you're pleased with, and is that something that you foster in practice?
Yeah, it's all we talk about, you know, and I've been on them a lot this last couple of months about being physical, and I mean, tonight's the most physical I've seen us in a long time, so we preach all the time, we gotta be physical. I told you guys early in media a couple days ago, we're not gonna out-jump them. You saw Timson is an elite athlete, probably the best one we'll see in terms of just a pure athlete all year. So we have to be the more disciplined team. I thought we were very disciplined in our box outs. We out-rebounded them by 1. That's crazy. And then, you know, our physicality, like we were really, really tough, and you got to be tough if you wanna win big games.
So I know it's just one win, but what could this mean for you guys as a program here?
I mean, I think it's one win, you know, but it's also something that it is really big, because I think it sets the tone for the entire year, and I think that it means more after kind of the start we had last year, where we dropped a lot of those close games, and for us to be able to, we talk all the time too about protecting your home court. Your home court is so important. If you can win games at home, you're going to be positioned well for the year. And just the opportunity. How many times, you know, I was really on them about just like having fun in this opportunity. You have a really good team coming, they're ranked, first game of the year, home court, like no regrets. And they were just so locked in, which you would expect from a veteran team. They were locked in, and our prep was great, and they came out and played like I know we're capable of playing. I just hadn't seen it, and you didn't see it against Lewis, I can tell you that much. But I also, that's why I said this game, I said it on, at the post game, you know, at first I'm like, man, was this stupid to, you know, do this right away? Like I was going back and forth, and then a couple days ago, I'm like, no matter what happens, win or lose, this is what this team needs. So I was so glad that I scheduled them in our first game. With the veteran team, that's something I learned. I'm going to do this every year. Now next year, we're not going to do that when we're young, but with the veteran team, because these guys, I told you guys, the great thing about veterans is they're veterans, but I also told you they wanted to play someone, and they wanted to play someone really good. They did not get up to play last Friday night. So now we have to continue to be consistent. Yes, it's a great win, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't come and do what you need to do on Sunday. So we got to understand that.
It's kind of piggybacking off of that, of just not maybe sure if this was the right, you know, opportunity or right situation, but maybe just in practice, did that sort of, in the build up to this game and what you saw when you talked about prep, just feeling like your team was ready and, you know, for this opportunity?
It was, I know this team very well, for good and bad and everything in between. I know everything and every little thing they do. They were different the last 2 days. This team knows that this was a big opportunity. They knew that this was a really good team. They knew what they had to do, and they prepared like that. So they drive me crazy because, you know, they don't do that some other days. But again, I trust this team, and they were elite in our preparation and our focus, and I'm really proud of that.
I feel like for 2 previous years, you've been just pouring the idea of consistency into Adalia. Like is tonight, kind of what you saw, what you wanted to see.
Yes, and confident. You know, you just, I saw it all summer, I saw it all preseason. She's on another level right now in terms of how she's playing, how strong. I've said it really all along. I think she can be one of the best defenders in the country, and I told her that our first year. I was on her about being all Big Ten our first year here. I knew that she had it in her. But the confidence she has right now on the offensive side and defensive side, she has never had this confidence. And again, it really started at the end of last year. And it has carried on. She's so strong, and now being able to finish with contact, they were switching, and she's going up against 6'3". So imagine now when teams are going to show low, that's great. So this was great that Florida State switched too. This was something really with their athleticism. This is something that's going to help us later on in the year if anyone does that, and we don't see that at times. So it was great.
Coach, you guys have 4 players reach double figures in points. How does that contribute to a big win like you had tonight?
Yeah, I think the balance of our team is the most important thing. You can't key in on one person, and we didn't shoot the 3 well tonight, but again, the free throw line was key. And we knew for them, really, they got their big 3, but really their big 2. They're going to get theirs, but we did a great job really neutralizing and locking up everyone else. So that's hard when you have, you have 5, 18, 8, 20, 20, 11. That's great. That's kind of what our program's always been about is balanced attack. And it can be someone new every night with us. And this was a game where, some people didn't play as much, but that's not they're gonna continue to get their opportunities. It just really was matchups, and shoot, how well like a Bryn was playing, it was hard to not have her on the floor.
Coach, you talk about like setting the tone with having those upperclassmen being able to, I guess, like be hungry from the get-go. How important is that to, I guess, pass down to some of these younger players who are going to be seeing more frequent minutes as they go through the program?
Yeah, it's great because it's good and bad. You have a big, senior crew that's been here, and then you have a lot of newcomers. So they're learning from really good leaders, and they're learning what it takes and what consistency looks like. And our upperclassmen, our seniors they're conscious of it. They understand that in order to build a program of sustained success in your culture, that you got to learn and pass those things on. So they've been very intentional bringing our younger guys along to really teach them what it means and what Illinois basketball is about. And I think that's awesome that they're like conscious of it and actually really taking the time to say, hey, when we're gone next year, you got to step up. Gretchen, we need you to be more vocal because when we're not here, they're saying that stuff to them. And I think that you're going to see those younger guys continue to mature in their games, but more importantly, their leadership.
Coach, you shot 2 for 13 from 3 tonight.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Obviously early, but is that something you're worried about, or you just keep shooting?
Keep shooting. I'm not worried about it, especially when we're getting to the free throw line 31 times. I'll take, this is everything I've been telling these guys is attack, 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 get to the rim. I mean, I'm screaming at them during the play, like, no one can stop you, Dale. I'm like, I probably shouldn't say that, but, I'm like, that's my belief in them. So I'm yelling at them to attack, and I want them to do that, and our threes will come. They don't give you a lot of threes either because of their switching all the time. Like our action, and we got 1 clean look from 2. Jen had that one late, and then Gretchen off of a set had a good look, and they missed them. Our other threes weren't even good threes. Like there was a couple bad shots in there. So we'll look at it and we'll keep analyzing them.
That was really related to my question. A lot of points off the balance, a lot of points in the paint. Was that something you saw in the scout with their help defense, or was it just kind of flow of the game?
It's who we are, is what we want, but then it was something we also knew they changed up. They didn't switch 1 through 5 last year, so we saw that they changed it, switching 1 through 5 in their first game. So we knew and we were prepared. So we were gonna say, hey, like Timpson's an unbelievable shot blocker, but we really wanted to try to attack her. And then there was times where I changed up where normally our 5 is setting ball screens. We changed up who was screening, so then we could get mismatches. Now our point guard or Dell is going against, maybe not as good of a defender. Every time certain people were on Dell, that we knew we could take advantage. I'm yelling at Dell, attack, attack. Same thing with McKyra. So we really wanted to try to take advantage of some mismatches that we saw that we thought we could exploit. And I give credit to our kids because they were really locked in and did it.
You talked about veteran leadership, but when you go ahead by 16 in the first half and then they make a run in the second half, how important was it to have experience and players that have been through it to withstand that run?
Yeah, and again, we talk all the time, but especially leading in this game when you have a good team, like basketball's a game of runs. We knew that they were gonna make a run. So I just think that's where I think we showed poise. I think that's where I felt I felt like we were in the WBIT, where I always just felt there was a calmness and poise to us, even when stuff started to get a little chaotic. And that's also something we've been talking about and really working on in practice. And I've been very intentional, the most I've ever been, about trying to create chaos and adversity in practice. There's times I'm intentionally doing that to try to get them to respond, because last year you saw when we responded and you saw when we didn't, and it snowballed. So that's the one thing I'm taking away from this game, was that we had positive responses, and we always made a play when they went on a run. That's big time for this group.
Coach, Kendall played 39 minutes tonight. What's it like knowing you can send her out there for that long and then still have her produce like she did tonight?
For a 5-player, I've said that it's unheard of. You just don't have a 5-player at this level that can play that long. I mean, there was that 1:30 seconds, I took her out, and then I'm like, at the end, I just took a timeout to give her a break. We have to have her on there. Obviously, we all know with some injuries, we don't have depth in that position, but what a hell of a job she did against an elite athlete, great player. I'm so proud of her defense, and I know she made some tough shots, but I thought she did a great job. And her box outs, she was right. I told her, I don't care if you get a rebound. Box Timpson out, and then everyone else will come in and fly in. And I thought she was really good in that.
It seemed like in the first half, she didn't have a mismatch, but it seemed like in the first half where she just couldn't get stopped. If you threw her the ball in the post, it was 2 points. It also seemed like you had veteran guards that understood she's really, really cooking. Is that just the veteranness of your team, or did she just was she just on a heater at that moment?
Some of that we were calling stuff for, trying to exploit some of that, but our guards made unbelievable passes. Some of those passes that got to her, I was like, oh, don't throw that, and then they threw it in and got. So I think that's their experience playing together. McKyra hit a couple passes. I don't know how they got to her. And then KB was really poised and knew her hook shot was going to be there. And then they did a better job. They didn't switch, and they were more physical and pushed her out in the second half. But she still found a way, to get 8 for 10, 18 points. Just overall great game. So I think it's some of just their experience of finding her, and then some of it was intentional with calls.
Kendall said something interesting where teams don't just come in and roll over Illinois anymore. And if you could zoom out a little bit, I'm guessing that mindset didn't happen overnight for you guys. So how did you kind of reframe that mindset? I know there's a lot of new faces, but even just program-wide.
Yeah, I always like being, I was actually kind of glad we weren't ranked, to start the year. Last year we were ranked and outlasted about 24 hours. We got our butts beat. So, I'm good with it. I like being the underdog. I always, anything I can do to fire them up about it, we're going to do that. And she knows what it was like for when they did come in and it was just a check. It was a win, for the other team. So for them, I'm so happy for them. I can't imagine how good it feels now and how proud they must feel. And that's why listening to those two talk was like, man, this is what it's about, right? They came when the program wasn't doing well, and they stayed committed to it. And to see the build-up now that, I love for them to have success. It's unbelievable.
And then Shay wasn't available tonight. Can you kind of update us on what she's dealing with, or if it's a long-term deal?
No, it'll be a couple days, and we'll get her back. So it's more day-to-day than, it's not like a Letty where it's, thank the Lord. So.
Coach, the perimeter defense in that first half, I thought you guys were just like really connected. What, in your opinion, what do you think that led to that connectivity tonight?
I love that you say that, because that's what I've been all my pregame, all my last 2 days, all my last couple months. So you just saying that, thank you, because everything's been about being connected. Like when we're connected in that connectivity on defense, we're all on a string, we're all moving together, we're all on the same page. That's what you can get. You can hold a Florida State to 10 points in a quarter. Now my job is to try to get them to do that for 40 minutes, right? And you're not gonna hold a team like that to 10 points, but it's all we've been talking about. It's all we've been preaching. It's all we work on. It's our defense. That's when our defense thrives, is when we're connected, making walls, keeping the ball in front, tough twos, and then contested shots. And then we're in a position to rebound and get out and run.
Coach, I'm curious if you run plays for Gretchen Dolan, she seems like such a natural scorer, and I know she can get her own, but do you dial up some stuff for her?
Yeah, we did, and she did a great job too, attacking the switches. She was relentless and really, because they slide on the switch. When teams switch, they're trying to take away all our downhill stuff. Like usually it's, because we're running so much action to try to get brushes and pin downs and to get them going downhill. Well, when teams switch, that really should eliminate it. But in Florida State did a really good job of sliding. But then our kids did a really good job of just being relentless and keeping turning and hitting their hips and going. And I thought Gretchen, she blew that layup. But there was that one time, it was great. She just kept turning, kept trying to turn, and then beat her. So Gretchen can score at all 3 levels. You guys have seen what she's capable of doing. She had 11 tonight. Her 3 wasn't going, but I'm fine with that. She was 1 for 4. She's just a great scorer in multiple ways.